Here.
Commissioner Camacho,
Here.
Commissioner Rios,
Here.
Commissioner Westling. Mr. Chair, I don't see Commissioner Westling on. I'll continue to try to contact her to remind her about the meeting. But Mr. Chair, you have a quorum. You have 5 members present.
So Jules Masia, Director, I guess we're moving on to the approval of the minutes. I see Cruz is online, Director.
Yes, I see Commissioner Cruz.
Director, I'm going to recuse myself from the approval of the minutes because I wasn't in the last meeting.
Okay. Commissioner Westling said she's about at her computer. She'll be logging in soon.
Okay, very good.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Cruz?
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve the regular meeting for April 12th, 2023, subject to corrections per audio recordings.
Okay, motion to approve the minutes by Commissioner Cruz. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It needs to be seconded, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, I see. Yeah, thank.
Yeah, I'll second
I'm
it.
sorry,
I'll
correct.
second, I'll second.
Okay,
I'll second
seconded by, okay, seconded by Commissioner Lawanya. All in
Yes.
favor? Say
Aye.
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 And
Motion carries.
no nays. I have to recuse
Aye.
myself. I wasn't- So there's no nays, right? I didn't hear any nays. No nays. Okay, Director, I recuse myself, but motion passes.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chair.
So just see. Okay, let's move down to the director's report.
Hey,
I don't know.
thank you.
Number 4.
Yes, the legal issues that were identified by the Attorney General's office with the initial audit contract between Ancestral Lands and Ernst & Young for independent audit services have been addressed. The contract's been signed by the Ancestral Lands and the OPA. And last I know, it was en route to Ernst & Young for their signature. So it's in the route again. We're rerouting it for signatures. We took care of the issues. Now, there is an oversight hearing coming up. The Committee on Health, Land, Justice, and Culture will convene an oversight hearing on Monday, May 15th at 4 p.m. on the viability of using EPAL Point, that's the former Guam Memorial Hospital site, and other alternative sites. I'd like to remind commissioners that the Ancestral Lands has not been a part of any task force involved in the planning of the proposed Guam Medical Health Campus, but the commission, and while the commission is not qualified to speak to the viability of any site considered for a new hospital, we can provide information on the physical location, size, ownership, and easements for these properties. 2 sites in the Ancestral Lands inventory were under consideration and still might be considered as alternate sites for the medical campus are Radio Barragata. These are several lots. Lots 2453, 2453-1, 2454, 2455, 2457, 2457-1, and 2481. This equals about 101 acres. And another one is located in Radio Barragata C, also known as partial N5D, and that consists of 73 acres. That is in an area called Adakal, or where we know that the former Wesco pig farm was going to be located. Those are areas that were under consideration. They might still be under consideration. So I guess that's why the speaker called on Ancestral Lands to be present during that oversight. She might be interested in those lots too, because according to news reports, she is very interested in having a hospital built and working with us. So I'll send you a report on that if any of you would like to join us during the oversight meeting. Again, that's going to be this coming Monday at 4 p.m. at the legislature. So now the budget hearing. Yes. Any questions on that?
Director, yeah, is it those lots are all under Ancestral Lands, correct?
Yes, they're what we would call non-ancestral lots. They're crown properties.
On lands.
They're within our land inventory, and they are Gov Guam under ancestral. The deeds are under Ancestral Lands.
Okay, very good.
So I could send you a specific report on that, and if they're interested in it, maybe we can build up again the land bank if they would like to lease that or maybe purchase it from us.
Well, at the moment, I'm all in favor.
That sounds great. I know the speaker would love to hear that. She's looking for alternate sites. And I believe that's why she's invited us, but she is currently, I've seen her on the news speaking of the EPOW or Oka Point, or what is also referred to as the old hospital point. That's under the land inventory for the Chamorro Land Trust Commission, not us.
I can't speak for the rest of the board, but I'm in favor. I'm in favor of that. If it's at
Okay,
this moment, I'm in.
well, I believe no one among us or in government believes that we don't need a hospital. Everybody stated they do need one.
Yeah.
It's the location. So we'll provide whatever we can and we'll see what comes up. But those lots are fairly large and currently are available. Okay, we do have a budget hearing coming up too.
I'm sorry. I have a question regarding
Yes.
that.
Yes, Commissioner
if-
Camacho.
Yeah, if I guess the government of Guam or GMH is considering whether it's Guam ancestral lands or even or a land trust. So would they have to pay fair market value for a lease
Yes,
or this?
and it would need legislative approval for anything in Gov Guam that goes beyond lease for 5 years to buy, sell, or transfer. It needs legislation.
So the government will have to lease it for whatever fair market value is to whether it's Guam ancestral lands or Chamorro Land Trust. That's correct?
Yes, and we've already had an appraisal of the location done by another person who sold their property in that general location. They are zoned agricultural, so the appraised value of those properties are $25 a square meter.
Are you talking about the Atacao maybe? And then you mentioned something about 70.
There's 7
Thousand
other,
square-
yes, lots that are total come up to 101 acres. And the reason we looked at 101 is because initially the governor was asking for 102 acres. So we do have property that total that in one location. It's several lots, 7 lots.
so let's just talk about the 70, the smaller lot. 70, you mentioned 70 something acres.
Okay, that is one single lot. Yes, that's between the golf course that Windward, I forget the name of the golf course. Anyway, that golf course passed right when you go up Route 15 onward, I believe golf club or something. Between
Okay.
there and almost up to Atacao, the intersection to Atacao Elementary School.
Mhm.
That's the whole thing. It's a road frontage, 73 acres.
So can you do a quick calculation for me if you don't mind? The acreage times, you said 25.
Well, 73 times 4,000 times 25. So that's what it would be.
So Gov Guam would have to pay to Guam Ancestral Lands Commission to it purchases $25 a square meter. So what
That's
if you,
what the appraised value of property in that area was for that
Wow.
particular type of property.
okay. I mean, that just, you go from a
For that,
$2
if I'm
We'll
right,
go-
it's a rough estimate, 7,300,000 if they purchase it outright. But the commission is not tied to a sale. It could be leased. It could be whatever. It could be legislated by law, like what happened with the Raceway Park and what happened with the farmers co-op. So it's kind of like going to be a decision. We'll have to work that out with the speaker. That's why I said she's calling this oversight, and she's looking for property, available property for the building of the hospital or the medical campus, whatever it may be. I'm just saying that Ancestral Lands does have property available and in other areas, but what was considered is what she asked for the alternative sites that were under consideration. So we do have alternate sites way up north that weren't under consideration. If she brings that up, then we'll look into it for her.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that these are costs to Governor Guam or GMH. right? Additional in addition to the construction of the buildings, right?
Yes,
All right,
because they are, yes, because they're in the land bank inventory, you know, it's technically not free. We just can't give it over.
right. That was kind of my point, because we do have an obligation
To the
to the
trust,
benefit.
yes.
Right. All right.
And that's
Yeah.
not taking into consideration what Chamorro Land Trust may have. They have more properties than ancestral land. Commissioner Lino, is your hand up or?
Yes, I know that you've mentioned the lot numbers in Radio Barrigada. And I've written down 2453-1, 2454, 2455, 2477. Is that right?
57, 2457.
2457. Okay, I just want to know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll send you out a detailed report on it.
Oh, okay. Thanks. That's all.
Any more on that issue?
Right here.
Okay,
Mr.
Commissioner
Chairman?
Leguana.
Yeah, thank you,
Vice
Mr.
Chair.
Director. Yeah, just note, ladies and gentlemen, that the legislature can even just condemn that whole thing and take it for nothing. So be prepared. That's why we should be there
Yes,
to defend it and at least get some lease monies or some sort of monies for the infrastructure for the SID fund.
Right.
yes.
And that's where I'm at on that.
That's why I reminded you of what happened with the raceway track and with the farmers co-op.
Correct.
If I have a question though, now if they condemn it, don't they have to pay fair market
No.
value again?
No,
No,
Yes.
no, they don't.
some
They'll
say
just
yes,
take
some
it.
say no.
No,
Yes,
Eminent-
they'll just,
Eminent domain.
yeah,
Eminent-
yeah,
Farmers market and the raceway track are examples of what they can do.
correct.
I thought
And
it was-
also,
But eminent domain entails fair market value.
but
That's
they
my
can just
Yes.
declare it. They can just declare outright taking it. And that's what they're gonna do with
Well,
the
remember-
extension of the, with the expansion of the cemeteries.
But I don't think that that's going to be kosher for those who,
Ancestral lands. Yeah.
That's why we need to be there
Right.
and we
Well-
stand up for it.
The
Well,
farmers co-op is 7 acres of prime land. And that was pretty much given to the co-op, 7 acres up in Dededo for about, they pay us about 3,000-4,000 a year after 7 years had passed. And that's
Right.
gonna be it from there on for the next few. Yes, Commissioner Orlino.
I just heard that the US Post Office for Data to open there at the farmers market. So they're
Uh,
leasing that, the federal's leasing a part of the building for the postal.
Well,
Did you do
that's
post office?
something Gita could speak on. You know, if that's part of what their earnings are, then they should declare that to us.
True.
And if
Absolutely.
it started this year, then we will only get a small percentage of that next year. They
Right.
pay us annually based on their gross income from the previous year.
Okay.
So,
2%.
yeah, very, very low.
Oh. Okay.
So, yeah, just trying to answer a question that the legislature can pretty much do anything if it's Gov Guam land. Whether they say condemn or they just take it away from us without payment, they can actually do that, but it needs their approval. That's the bottom line. So no matter what we say, it still must go before the
Right.
legislature.
We have to go strong people power.
Right.
Yeah, so I
Contrary to
need you
pub-
there at the oversight,
Yeah,
because they'll be looking into
Yeah.
our inventory.
I'll be there.
contrary to public opinion.
Right.
Okay.
there
Any more
seems to be-
questions?
Yeah, there seems to be a
Yes.
problem with that because remember that they tried to do that with the Tijan family.
Oh, but that was a different case because with the Tijan family, with that Gov Guam, or Gans versus Gov Guam, the issue there is that they were taking properties from the land bank to benefit a specific group of beneficiaries of the land bank, disenfranchising the rest of the members, the rest of the beneficiaries of the land bank. But if they're not doing that, then they can take it away from all of them and not just say,
Yeah.
only you will be the favorite few of the beneficiaries and forget the rest. So
If
yeah,
they're
that's a
just
different case.
to
So can they
condemn
do
it,
land
take,
exchange?
if they're just gonna condemn it and, yeah, if they're
Yeah,
just
they-
gonna take it, then of course I'm not in favor of.
Yeah, well,
And
my
take your
understanding,
devoted
it's
nation to
not
the
gonna be
trust,
for
then of
free,
course I'm not in favor of that.
but
Yeah,
you know, just to be sure that we protect our inventory.
okay, Director, thank you. You can continue.
Okay.
Just Masi.
No more questions. Okay, good. Okay, the budget hearing. We have a budget hearing coming up. And it's been moved several times, but now the Committee on General Government Operations, Appropriations and Housing has set our budget hearing for June 22nd at 2 p.m. And this is for the Guam Ancestral Lands with the budget bill number 26-37 COR. The Commission's FY 2024 budget request, not including the 22% personnel service pay increase, is $48,791 more than the Commission's FY 2023 budget appropriation. And that was $498,722. This increase is primarily due to the employment of an administrative assistant and an adjustment to the executive director's salary and regular pay, and also regular pay increments. With the inclusion of the 22% personnel service increase, the Commission's FY 24 budget request will increase by an additional $49,352 for a total of $98,143 over the Commission's FY 23 budget appropriation. A revised FY 24 budget request containing the 22% personnel services pay increase has been submitted to the Guam Legislature, Office of Finance and Budget. The revised Ancestral Lands FY 2024 budget request is now $596,865. Okay, I also am asking for RFP guidance. The Chairman Eclavea, informed me at a meeting that we had that he has considered lifting the stay on all RFPs for Crown properties in view of the Commission, but in view of the Commission placing a stay in the RFP for these properties and requesting a direction from the Commission whether or not the Commission is interested in developing these properties or leasing them out or a combination of both. We do have several properties out there, and I know that some of them, Gita was informed to put a stay on the RFP that we're going to send out. I like direction now, since the Commission back then voted for the stay. Are you going to release that and allow me to move forward on leasing these properties out, or requesting that not only lease, but maybe a partnership, a private, public partnership with any developer out there to develop them? So, or are you going to let me have a freedom and with Gita to sit down and discuss how we're going to work with these properties? So, Mr. Chair, you brought that up. And
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, definitely. What I'd like to do is now, yes, we could get at least a couple of the properties out that they shown a letter of interest for. But what I want to do is maybe get what the board thinks. Sit down maybe with a quick work session with the board to see whether we just go back to leasing straight out, or take advantage of the legislation that allows us develop it ourselves. But I had a quick chat with Gita, and they propose some other alternatives that than how we're basically doing with the lease. But that was just a quick discussion with Gita on it. Director, you were there, so I'm interested in exploring that too. But if for some reason it's not practical to move in any of those ways and go back to just downright leasing everything, then I think my personal opinion is we should take advantage of that enabling legislation to develop. But if it's not at all practical per se, then we need to, let's move on it in however way. So maybe director, we could sit with Gita to find out, to further develop what they were trying to, because we were limited in time there. And then let's see what let's get what the board thinks.
Okay, so Diego's on now, so I guess we'll set up that work session. And we'll set it out for the commissioners to attend, and we'll figure out what we're gonna do with those properties. So it looks like we're gonna lift the stay and we're gonna be moving forward.
Yeah, let's see within the next couple of months, we can put out an RFP, the RFP. I mean,
I
once
think
we
Gita has
at
one
least
that
come
was
to a,
developed.
well, this
They
one
have
here,
an
I
RFP
mean,
ready.
I just want to make sure we're, you know, with that enabling legislation, and we can, Gita said, gave me some positive ways to do about it without actually, we can putting language in the lease terms that kind of like addresses that, as opposed to it being a total partnership or something. So let's explore that and get it out of the way as
Okay.
soon as we could and put out the RFP. I'm fine.
Okay, great. So Diego, you heard that, right? Okay,
Yes, sir.
Can we get can
Yes.
we get some input on the board? Just like any quick comments on the board
Regarding what matter? Mr. Chair?
about moving forward with the land, with the inventory we have, and
Oh, yeah,
developing it, or just
Yeah.
straight out leasing it,
Yeah.
or
yeah. Developing is, we work in partnership, like you said, that we gotta step it up,
okay, well.
One
we
more,
can
one
try
more
to
thing,
see
Mr.
we-
Chairman. Yeah, one more.
one more thing. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead, Vice
Yeah,
Chair.
no, I know, but this is what regard the budget hearing. What time is the budget hearing? And it's on the 22nd, at what time?
At 2 p.m.
Okay. Thank
on
you.
June 22nd. I'll send out a
Alright.
reminder to all of you again
Thank
on
you.
that.
Thank you.
Okay, any further comments on that last topic? Board members?
I see Commissioner Lino.
Maybe like you said, we could have a small workshop, session or something, so that we could hear from each other, because it's pretty interesting. We could do partnership and juggle and whatever, develop or anything. Let's do something different, and that would be nice, right?
Oh, we could try it out. We'll put our RP out.
Okay.
And see if there's any.
Director, let's
takers.
get together and set something with Diego, if
Okay.
possible, Gita, and then just finalize what we could and then move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
Good.
okay, thank you. Then, Mr. Chair, then that's all of my report. I guess you asked all the information. So thank you for allowing me to give this update.
Oh, that's
I
it.
have one,
Okay.
I have one
Yes.
question, Mr. Director.
Yes,
Are we up to date? Can you do an update on the racetrack matter?
update on the racetrack.
I thought that's tomorrow, Lanchas.
It is Tremor and Trust.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
okay,
not
that's
sure
right.
where
That's right.
they're at on that, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. Last I heard is they had an extension to allow smoking wheels to occur, and that the last day for the federation up there, for the Raceway Federation, will be June. I know the speaker or some of the senators are working on it. I don't think anybody wants to end the raceway track, but I did hear that one of the commissioners in the CLTC was saying to partial it, but I don't think that's allowed by law at this point. So I don't, we don't get involved with the raceway track. That's CLTC's jurisdiction.
Okay.
I can see
Yeah,
if they
that's right.
can
I
provide
forgot
a
about that.
report to us, but
Well-
other than that,
Director, what was it you said? One of them wanted what, parcel it? Is it you say port parcel or?
yes, I forget which is
Oh, but the word you
commissioner's
used
name
was
at
parcel.
CLTC. They wanted to partial
the
it
word you
out.
used
That
was
one
partial,
guy
right?
mentioned to partial it out
Oh,
for housing. I don't think that's gonna fly by the front office. The front office says the raceway track will continue. And my understanding with the legislators, from what I heard, is that that function will continue. That's all I
Yeah.
know. I don't know anything else
Oh,
other
the
than that.
information out of that. The information out of that lease kind of like, it's just FYI for us on the board to, like, learn from in a
Okay,
sense.
well, so that we
But you
don't
know what I
make the
mean?
same
Just to keep
errors.
track, and then we can, basically get more experience with situations that's like that per se.
Yeah,
Even though it's not our jurisdiction for sure.
well, I can try to see what's going on with it. I can get access to the contracts and stuff, but as far as the decision being made, that's still before the CLTC board. And when I heard that one commissioner say that of course, I paid close attention to that one statement. But knowing that everyone else I've discussed it with, or who have mentioned it to me, said they support the raceway track. So I don't see
Just
it
not-
disappearing.
yeah,
Maybe it might shut
just-
down for a little
yeah.
while.
But just
But
not the
I
whole
don't see it
200,
disappearing.
yeah, Mr. Director, just not the whole 250 acres.
Maybe.
That's what I'm
right.
hearing.
Okay, so I haven't heard unless, all I know is what we read in the paper and what, when I'm in small meetings and the topic is brought up on the sideline, and that's about it, is that they support the track. So I'm assuming CLTC is gonna support the track. It's just the issue they have with the current management of the track. Hopefully they can settle that. So we'll see what happens. They have a short timeline. It's gonna end in June. So it's already May. So yes, Commissioner Lino?
This is the same route. Let's not forget that the property up there in Pagat, I think that somebody built, the Chamorro Trust owner or something, Lisi, has taken ancestral land, right? So are we still working on that to get an exchange? Because I mean, it's not nice to kick them out right now, but they are straddling our land, right? The GALC land.
They are several, not just that. I think we have 6, maybe 7 of CLTC people or clients who have been given leases by Chamorro Land Trust, and they settled them on ancestral land property. And if we're talking about the Atacal area that I mentioned that may be for the hospital, there's definitely one that we confirm is CLTC. And they built some kind of structure there.
And what are we doing?
Well, I've mentioned it to, I guess, already the 3rd administrator that's been there since I've been here with Ancestral Lands. We're down to the 3rd one during my time here. I mentioned it to each one of them, and before we start to get working on anything, a new administrator comes in.
Mr.
So
Director,
hopefully the one now will be there long enough for us to resolve this issue.
Yeah.
Because it's not just that, also up in Deadwood on some prime land. You've heard about Ron Bernardo because
Director.
the commission gave them,
Mr. Director, these are not
yes.
on the agenda. Shouldn't we be talking about items on the agenda?
Yes, we could.
No,
But,
we should.
yeah,
We should be talking about items on the agenda.
I know it's
We're
not on the
going
agenda,
off
but since they mentioned the racetrack, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's in relation to that. So I'm just
Well-
fine. I'm just asking. I know I don't want discussion. I just want to need to know and remind us that we do too. See, that's an ongoing thing. So let's just look into it and see what's happening. That's all.
we are looking into it, and hopefully, once we get the administrator gets settled in down there, she's very new at it now.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll be able to resolve that issue once and for all. But there's more than
That's still in our mind, right? So that's all.
yes. We're not evicting anyone yet.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Director, it kind of like is a little bit associated with the agenda right now, because regarding the RFP with our properties, there's some issues with well, not issues. I think we're making the I wanted to bring that up to you because it's there in the agenda you put with regard to the RFP. And we're
Yes.
looking at seeing if we can go ahead and immediately resolve the issues with those properties, because it's real low. We're looking at seeing if we can do a land exchange as quick as possible. But then when I brought it up
Yes.
to you in the past, it wasn't ready because she was just new, getting her feet wet. But I think that's gonna be part of the discussions we have on the with the work session with on getting this out.
Yeah, and
So
hopefully
just
we'll
to
get
let the
that
board,
resolved.
looking at moving with land exchange, with some land exchange to address those these that are being encroached on, so we can at least have a land exchange that's beneficial for both sides or attractive
Yeah.
for both sides.
And there also, we have the issue of some squatters just out there that
That-
moved in because it's government land. So we have that issue too.
Okay.
Okay, any questions, any further updates, any of the commissioners need? Okay, thank you for this opportunity for presenting this report. Mr. Chair,
Sujan Basi, Director, and board members for all your questions, of course. Let's move down now to item number 5, GITA progress report.
Hey, buenas. Good afternoon, GALC, Chairman Aclavea,
Buenas.
Vice Chair Leguan, and all commissioners, as well as GALC Director Birch, your staff. My name is Tony. I'm presenting GITA today in regards to the GITA monthly progress report. And with me today is Mr. Diego Mendiola, our Real Property Division Manager, as well as Northern Market representatives and Guam Environmental Protective representatives who will be addressing the commission later on. I'm here to present to you the GITA monthly progress report dated May 5th, 2023. The following is a progress report on GITA's efforts to manage land bank trust properties as required by Section 1 of the MOU between GITA and the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission's Land Bank Trust. First one on the list is Wedding Hill Junction, that's tenant Northern Market LLC. Their monthly rent of $27,850.51. Outstanding balance as of May 5th is $1,577,795.20. Their total deferred, undeferred, and accumulative interest due as of October 31, 2022 is $1,466,377.16. Their last payment received on February 8, 2023. Their notice of non-payment was hand-delivered on April 28, 2023, and we also attach a notice for all you folks to look at. Apra Harbor parcel number 1, which is the Commissary Junction Quick Space down in PD. Their monthly rent of $4,029.02. Zero outstanding balance. Their last payment received on May 1, 2023. And their 1% annual base rent increase effective from May 1, 2023 of their new monthly rate of $4,029.02. Apra Harbor Reservation, that's Matson Navigation Company. Their monthly rent of $27,733. Their outstanding is $27,733. Pending their May rent. Their last payment received on April 10, 2023. The F12-R2, Apra Harbor Reservation, which is TransSteel as the tenant. Their monthly rent of $500 with an outstanding balance of $9,200. And their last payment was received on May 1 in the amount of $600. Tengisan Cable Landing Station, that's the AT&T building. Monthly rent of $22,939.42. Zero outstanding balance. And their last payment received via ACH on May 3rd, 2023. F12 Polaris Point, Smithbridge, Guam. Their monthly rent of $8,800. Outstanding balance zero. Last payment received via ACH on May 3rd, 2023. Lot 10155-1, that's the Farmers Co-op Flea Market. Their annual rent due still for CY 2021 with their outstanding balance of $2,009.30. In regards to their follow-up was made on April 20 and May 3rd, 2023 for their submission of their calendar year 2022 financial statements. A response was sent via email stating that their statements will be submitted soon. However, no specific date was given. And this response was sent by Mr. Uggan, their FCAG president. I also have a revision that they made their second installment payment of the amount of $401.86. This was paid right before lunch today. The Teton Properties, which is the Guam Environmental Protection Agency building, their monthly rent of $8,000. Their outstanding balance is $256,000. Their last payment received via ACH on April 13, 2023, in the amount of $8,000. As per the GALC Board Commission's request that they be invited to attend, and there is a representative here who will be addressing the commission later on. Department of Public Health, Social Services, that's the WIC building in Teton. Their monthly rent of $8,400 with their outstanding balance of $20,699.35. They also made a lump sum payment on April 27 in the amount of $16,800 for that's 2 months rent, equivalent to 2 months rent. The letter of intent to extend their MOU between the Guam Ancestral and the Department of Public Health WIC, approved by the GALC Board Commission meeting on April 12, 2023. The F-12 Polaris Point Mitigation Plan, their update status and the mitigation plan from the Guam Environmental Protection Agency, CHE, which is their GIPA rep. They stated that they are still pending their US EPA's decision on the mitigation plan through their Brownfields grant program. And this concludes my monthly report. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present this report. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Sure.
Any questions?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Lino has her hand up.
Okay, Commissioner Arlino?
Hi, and I think the third or the fourth one was Transsteel, and their monthly payment is 500, right? And their arrears is 9,200. Last pay was May 1st of 600. So you minus the 100 from that 9,200, and what's holding them up from paying up the arrears?
Ms. Commissioner Lino, we did address this issue to what's his name? His name is John, and he's trying his very best to try to pay more than the additional 100 he's making. And he said he's still having a very difficult time paying more than paying more in the arrears payment. A little extra.
What activity? What's his business down there? Is there an activity going on? Is he making money, or is it on a standstill kind of business?
It's like on a standstill type of business, you know. Gosh, it's not like a consistent type of business, sort of like he just rebuilds parts whenever it's needed. And what he does is, I guess he sends it to the Micronesian Islands for whatever parts that they order. Yeah, but it's not like a very small business for scrap parts that he repairs and then he resells to, I guess, orders that are made from the FSM Islands.
Mm-hmm. But knowingly, you know, that's very low, $500 a month. And arrears are 9,200. Are we just gonna keep waiting and waiting? This is an ongoing thing. It's not something new. We just need to dig in more and, you know, try to get the arrears paid up first. Because 500, okay, he just paid 600. Well, so he gets by when he makes a little payment, and still he keeps back the 9,200. That's not fair to the others that are up to par. And well, there's others in arrears. And we're looking at EPA with 256,000 in arrears. Are they moving out any soon, or their new office has been established? And if this is a matching fund between the federal and government of Guam, well, they got to do something too. Okay. Are they 100% federally funded, or is it a matching fund with the government of Guam?
Commissioner Lino, that's one of the items on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
coming up.
I don't have the agenda with me. I'm sorry. So we'll
Okay.
discuss that further. Okay.
Yes, that's under, right after the Gita report. It's under
Oh.
old business after Northern Market.
Okay. So we'll continue when it gets there.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Any further questions for Gita? And let me get back to the.
Hi,
Commissioner
Chairman
Westling, I
Acompanyo.
think.
This is Louisa Westling. Hi,
Okay,
I do have a question regarding TransSteel. Has Gita, anybody from Gita gone down there in recent months to report what condition is the property in as far as stuff being stored there?
For the commissioner, this is Diego.
Hi.
Hi. The last time I went there was probably 2 months ago, and what I had seen on that property is, some heavy equipment that I believe that the tenant John Pearson is, repairing slash scavenging, to send off for his orders for his business.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, does it have a whole lot of stuff? Is it turning into what we were left holding the bag with Poly Steel?
Negative, ma'am. It is, it's heavy equipment, but
Okay.
it's I guess the only thing I can say is organized
Organized
sections.
storage. Okay.
Yeah.
Organized chaos.
Yeah, I am of the same opinion that Commissioner Orlino expressed earlier. That it seems like the balance is barely getting paid down. And from my just rough calculations, he's 18 months behind schedule as far as rent payments. And I think we need to take a more assertive stance with him, because I'm afraid that that it's just kind of just going along, and I would like to, personally, I would like to see that a notice, be issued to him, really putting him on notice that he's got to come in with a better plan other than the $600 per month, because that has become the pattern, I believe. And I think in his eyes, he thinks that's acceptable. But that was, if memory serves me right, we agreed to that only because he was supposed to be working on being able to come with substantial payments to zero out this balance, and that doesn't seem to be happening. So again, I'm in favor of the board taking a much more aggressive stance in putting him on notice with whatever terms the license states, giving him an opportunity to come in if he'd like to, and give us a proposal that's going to accelerate the payments and satisfy this debt.
Commissioner Westling, just to remind you, the TransSteel under the John Pearson is on a month-to-month lease right now. his license or lease that he had in the past had expired, so he's operating month to month. I see
Mm.
Tony from Gita is raising his hand.
Yeah.
Tony?
Yeah, may I also add something, Commissioner Westling, that we did send a written notice sometime last year in informing Mr. John Pearson to increase his monthly payments. And he assured us currently what it is right now is he is doing some of major demolition work in the Modular Islands. I believe they're tearing up the modular power plant. And with that, he assured us late last year that with this big project and God willing, if everything goes well, he said he was going to make a substantial payment towards his outstanding arrears. But if you want us to send a second notice, we'll go ahead and do that, make that request.
Yeah, that's good. A wake-up call.
I think we need to. I mean, the promises always sound very nice. And, you know, they give us a little bit of woo-hoo for a little bit. But then I believe it, personally, I'd like to, you know, I'd like for him to come before the board and give us some more details on this, you know, possible, probable pay down, you know, based on whatever contract he's secured. I'm hopeful that is true, but I feel like it's been a substantial amount of time since we've heard from him, you know, personally. And I think it's time that we do. But yes, I still feel that a notice, you know, reminding him of his, which I'm sure you already have, okay, but reminding him of his delinquency and just, you know, unless we have something concrete from him, then, you know, it may go for termination. I just feel like it's another sore that just continues to fester.
Would I'm sorry, excuse me, would a first notice of arrears suffice? Is that the notice that you want us to send out, Commissioner Westling?
Well, I'd be in favor, like I said, to put him on notice, reminder that, you know, he's whatever, how many months behind, and that, you know, we demand payment or substantial payment, and that we'd like for him to come before the board. Provided, of course, everybody is in agreement with what I'm proposing. But you know, I'd like to hear from him. And just like we did with Northern Market, I want to see, you know, where's your money coming from? And what really is the realistic time frame, so that we can decide, do we continue on with this, or do we, you know, move to terminate and exert whatever legal means we have available to enforce and collect?
Noted, will do.
I think Commissioner Camacho.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I have a comment as well. So in addition, I would like to, if possible, if it's appropriate, I would also like to see pictures of the condition of the property. If Gita could take pictures maybe, and you know, we don't need to see inside their building at this point if there is a building, but I would like to see what's on the property.
Okay.
We'll provide them.
I have a question for quick regarding Ms. Pearson and his and the lease we have. I know the lease is basically $500, right? And then he's adding an extra 100 on top of that, and his balance is over 9,000. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, your internet connection is it's not steady.
Frozen.
It's frozen, yes.
It's not a license, right? It's a month.
Month to month.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have my hand up.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
Mr.
sorry.
Chair, you were frozen. Do you want to repeat?
Frozen.
I know, everything just stopped right there. You're all back on again. Vice Chair, go ahead.
Sorry,
It's a
Vice.
Yeah.
license agreement.
Okay. I'm in
Vice Chair,
agreement with,
go ahead.
I'm in agreement with Commissioner Wesley. And that I suggest that since he's like about 18 months behind the $9,000 debt, I think we should just give him a deadline. He already came in 2 times already, face to face. Already, we gave him so many chances.
True.
I think it's time to send him a notice of termination next month if he doesn't provide some an increase of at least 3/4 of the payment, or just clear it
Mm-hmm.
and indicate on that we are going to take a restrictive action, affirmative action. You just have to just go for broke. Thank you.
Is everybody in agreement?
Yes.
I have a concern though. If we terminate this right away, what about what's left on the property? Are we gonna be also stuck holding the bag and cleaning it up as well? Kind of like we did with, what is it, Bali still?
Yeah,
That's a
There's
great question, Commissioner. I was just about to ask. I know that Tony did give a briefing on that just a little bit, just a while ago on his report. But Gita, you said that it's basically storage of those heavy equipment. It's like a storage thing.
Well, there, no, it's not so much storage, but how do you say, if you're working on a piece of equipment that's there, I don't know if to say it's storing stuff that he's working on. That's the,
Well,
I don't know
But-
how else
no.
to term
Well,
it.
with regard to Camacho's Commissioner Camacho's question is,
Yeah.
are we going to be stuck with the equipment and all the heavy equipment and whatever debris that's there?
Sorry, there's 2 hands up
There-
already.
there's always that risk, but I think
Yeah.
What-
So
what Commissioner Camacho is requesting though, if we could get pictures, I think that's in order before we issue the determination, but the way I see it, I just don't believe, unless he can come up with a plan, okay? Unless he can come up with a plan, this is gonna continue. It's just gonna continue, whether or not he's got junk all over the place or not. And we just can't let it continue as is. If at the very
I'm
least,
also, yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm also just wondering if the $500 a month is even market value today. I don't know. But if we just continue to do this month to month, nothing's gonna change.
Nothing, it's not,
So,
it's not gonna
but
change.
I think we need to know the condition though first, and then basically go from there.
That's right.
well, for sure, it's not market
agree.
value today. That's for sure. Okay, so why don't we at least getting assessment of what's on there first, because if he can't make substantial increase in his arrears, then we're gonna have to basically see the what we're dealing with after we give him an eviction notice.
Right.
Okay, Commissioner Rios.
Half a day. I just wanted to say that if anybody from Gita would like to maybe take a visit down there next week or later this week, I could be available for that site visit. I wouldn't mind seeing it for myself. And then I think after that assessment, I think it might be wise for us to, I don't know, maybe we can get some help from the AG's office to think about how we're going to do something like this, and how, the tenant can still be responsible, even though we are the ones doing the cleanup, if we have to do the cleanup, or if there has to be an eviction. But I think as long as we continue to receive the payment, we are saying it's okay to be there. And so just a thought, I don't mind being available next week or even later this week. If anybody wants to go down there from Gita, I'd be happy to go with them. And at least then by the next meeting, I could at least report on what I saw and what kind of logistical work it might take to clean it up if that's needed. I'm familiar with things like that and equipment and what type of equipment is needed to move stuff like that around. So be happy to help with that if
Hey, I
my help.
appreciate that, Commissioner Rios.
Great.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Thank you
Commissioner,
for offering that.
Vice Chair Laguardia had his hand up
Okay,
for a
yeah.
while.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, you know,
I'm sorry,
yeah,
Vice Chair?
Mr. Chairman. Yeah, you know, in any lease agreement, the conditions of the release upon termination requires, it's indicated on that lease agreement that they are, once they vacate or get terminated, it is their responsibility to get out of all of that stuff out.
That's right.
So this is just like just a stern notice and indicating them, letting them know that within this time period, maybe, you know, next month, if nothing happens with no plan,
Yeah.
no payment plan, then you shoot, you know, we need to take affirmative action. That's it.
Okay.
Yes, may I, just to make a correction for the record, Trans Steel's on a license agreement.
Okay,
not a
Tony?
lease.
I'll talk to you later.
Trans Steel, they're on a license, they're currently in a license agreement,
Okay,
month to month, yeah. They're not on a lease.
okay.
It's a license.
But,
Right.
okay, but still in a license agreement, the stipulations are indicated. Am I correct?
That's correct, Vice Chair.
There you go.
Noted.
Okay,
And
Mr. Chair.
just for a note
No
there,
further
we need to
comments.
be prepared to see what abandoning their stuff and taking off. So I think it might be a different story this time with Mr. Pearson, but you never know. Are we going to be stuck with it again? And then, of course, we got to go to the litigation process of pursuing him to remove it. But I guess you're right, Vice Chair.
Auction.
You're right. Let's just move with it. And
Yeah.
yeah, but
Okay.
I'm still in favor. Commissioner, appreciate that. If you're available in Gita to make a site visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll coordinate with Commissioner Rios.
Okay.
Good,
So just
good.
pass it. Thank you.
Okay,
Don't forget the pictures.
Any further questions with that?
No, don't forget the pictures.
Yeah, they're gonna take pictures.
Not as well.
Right, Angie?
They're gonna take pictures.
okay.
Okay, any further
so-
questions
so-
for Gita? Any further questions?
Yeah, so before we sign off from here, I'd just like to reiterate so that I have in my mind as to what we're doing here. So first of all, we're going to have Gita and Commissioner Rios go down to assess the situation, to take pictures as Commissioner Camacho indicated. And then we issue a notice, a demand notice for payment and for him to come in to talk to the board so that we can hear for ourselves what promises he's made to our Gita reps, and then we can decide from there. Yes, does that sound reasonable?
I agree.
That sounds right.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that was the process that we want to do. Okay,
That sounds right.
thank you.
Can we just get Gita to confirm that they
I-
understand what the board is? I'm sorry.
Sure, let me just re-clarify.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna conduct a site tour with Commissioner Rios first. The end result for that, we issue a demand for notice of payment. And then have Mr. Pearson come before the board to address the board and the matter. of his arrears. Is this correct?
Yes, that's how I understand it. And then once all of that has been vetted, then we will decide collectively as a board which way we will go.
All right, noted. All right.
Okay.
Hey, Tony. Just wanted to say you mentioned that it's under a license, and maybe we might need to look into that as well and just see exactly what are the responsibilities of the tenant, even under the license agreement, so that make sure we're we're doing what we can do with regard to that. And I say I'm just thinking of the time, how much time he might need, if his plans are to move, and what kind of timeline he's going to need to move all that stuff out as quickly and as cleanly as possible. Because at the end of the day, we'll be the ones to move it if we have to clean it up. And then we're unfortunately we're going to be chasing down the license holder of that property to try and collect for it, and it might be a lot more expensive for him if we're getting a third party company to clean it up. So just a thought, we want to give him some time to clean up and go if where this is going. A little bit of consideration for the move, I think, is important. That's all. Just so that he has time to clean up if he's planning on relocating. Thank you.
One last comment.
Okay, Vice Chair.
Tony, what it is just let him know that he is being placed on notice and that the commission is going to place affirmative action on this matter. Just let him know that we are placing him on notice. We've given him a sufficient amount of time. We've met with him several times. Now it is coming down to the bottom of the pot. Okay, that's it.
Sorry,
Commissioner
one
Camacho,
last-
you had your hands up?
one last, yeah. And then, Gita, also, I would like to be reassured that we have our legal counsel's guidance on all of this to make sure that we're following the agreement or the license as agreed.
Okay, noted.
Yeah, which is why my point was take pictures as according to what the agreement said. So if you have to give 24-hour notice, I don't know, whatever is in that agreement, that we just buy it. Because once we accept the payment, right, it's another month of that license.
Mhm.
So
That's right.
we just want to make sure that we're, sticking with our terms. Thank you.
Okay, so just Masi, Commissioner Camacho. But I would think that if there was going to be drastic eviction, it would, of course, take into account where he's paid up to, right?
My understanding though is when you accept payment, that's another month of whatever that license. If he's making payments monthly, correct?
That's
And then
correct.
$100 of that payment goes toward his arrears.
Yeah.
So
And he's
my
just
understanding
on a month-
is,
a month,
yeah, and
no,
my
for sure,
understanding
yeah.
is if he made a payment in what, May, then we have to honor that license for the month of May. That's why I just want to make sure that all these things that we are saying we're going to do is kosher to that agreement that we have.
Okay, if I may, I have not seen the license agreement, and so depending on what the terms of it are, there may or may not be a clause in there that says there's no waiver of default, which means that just because the commission accepts payment, it does not waive the default. It may be there, it may not be there. Also, because it is a license, the difference between, as the commission knows, a license and a lease is that a license is, for the most part, you can terminate it immediately. You don't have to give notice. It's easy to terminate. If you buy a ticket into Disneyland, that is a license, and it's just good for that one time. And they can kick you out if they wanted to. So again, we'll know more once we see the agreement, and perhaps Tony, you could email it to me, and we'll take a look at it.
Sure. Okay, I'll do that, Attorney Miller. I'll send it.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman Correa?
Yeah, Mr.
I'm
Chair.
sorry,
there's
my
no
my
questions.
my internet is buffering. It's buffering. I'm
Anyway.
getting frozen screens.
If
right
Gita's
now.
report is accepted
Okay,
as being
are
complete,
we
next will be Northern Market under old business.
under old business number 6? So let's move. Gita?
Hey, Mr. Chair, just reporting to the board that I did deliver the letter to Northern Market on last month on the 28th. So that essentially starts the clock as we had anticipated. It did send a very loud wake-up call to Northern Market. Northern Market has proposed to pay $500,000 within 30 days. They still have some asks though, but they have agreed to the difference between their last proposal and current is that they have agreed to pay $500,000, and the what do you call that? The remainder of the arrears to be amortized 20 years as opposed to 30 years. So bringing that to the commission today, I believe that Gita was very much in favor of asking for substantial payment, in agreement with the commission and Commissioner Westling. And so when I spoke with them, Carlos is here to correct me if I'm wrong, that they needed a substantial payment, and their last was 150, but got them up to 500,000. They are very close to being able to develop and to begin business. And so this is up to the commission. However, what Gita is asking is if we can, if the commission is still not satisfied with this as it is right now, if we could just have a little bit additional time that we can work with Northern Market to come up with a better offer, if this is not satisfactory to the commission today.
The chair,
Sir.
I think he's frozen again.
Okay, any questions, board members? I can't see, it gets frozen every now and then. Does anybody have their hands up?
Vice Chair has his hands up.
Yeah.
Vice-
Can you, I was kind of like distracted a little bit reading the other matters. What was the proposal again?
The proposal was, Northern Market submitted a proposal to the commission. They were asking, for additional deferment. They were asking for amortization of their arrears over a 30-year span. And so with that, we had I went to, the commission was not satisfied with that. So we put that together in a formal letter, which I delivered to Northern Market and, sat down and spoke with them. And, basically, I did tell them, the commission is not satisfied with this. And in order for anything to be even considered, a more substantial payment on the arrears would be required. With that, Northern Market has said that, they will pay 500,000, down on their arrears within 30 days if the commission is okay. And instead of 30 years amortization of their remaining balance, they have asked if they could, if it would be acceptable to shorten it from 30 to 20 years as opposed to 30 years. If that's acceptable to the commission. I'm sorry, Mr. Carlos here from Northern Market is also in attendance. He has his hand up if I misspoke anything. Carlos?
Mr.
Sorry,
Camacho, yeah, there you go.
Of the mute. You were partially correct there, Mr. Diego. I just wanted to clarify a couple of things first. Yes, he did inform us that our first proposal, the 150 down, and all the ask is not accepted in regards to our arrears and all that kind of stuff. So we did come back and if we recall in our first ask, we broke our project into 3 phases, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, strategically because we were timing in our tenant base in each phase. And on phase 1, we were able to tighten the numbers. As we said in the first round, we didn't know how much of the funds we were going to contribute from the 150, but we were able to tighten the numbers. We're ready to start off the construction on phase 1 on July, based on our permitting process with government of Guam, and start phase 1. And from tightening the numbers from our bids, we were able to increase our numbers to $500,000 as to be applied towards the arrears compared to the 150. In the same letter that we wrote on our phase 2 and 3, we also put down, which Mr. Diego probably did not include to disclose, additional 150 in phase 2 and 150 in phase 3. So that would have been 5 plus 3 would be 800,000 down if all phases are built. But again, phase 2 and 3 will have the same provision as phase 1. We're hoping if we tighten the numbers or if the timing is cross-built with phase 1, while our workers are out there doing phase 1, we can have some construction savings and increase that. Our goal is to try to increase that 800,000, 5 plus 150 plus 150 to another $250,000 to make it 1 million. And the arrears of 400,000 plus whatever construction arrears will be amortized for the 20 years. So that way it's financially feasible to meet our debt ratio. If we're able to not impact our debt ratio and we're able to borrow a little bit more money, then that we can do. But we don't know yet until phase 2 and 3 is going through the exercise like we did phase 1. That's how we were able to tighten phase 1. I know we've, as Commissioner Wesson said, since November last year, we keep saying we're going to do this and do that, but we were just trying to figure out our phase approach, our development approach, our pricing approach. Now that we've tightened phase 1, that's why we're able to squeeze a little number to increase the deposit. And again, like I said, we never asked for any abatement. We never asked for anything for discount. We never got involved in any PPP or any federal program during the pandemic because we were not available to those things. So while we are still recovering in the commercial side of the equation, we strategically are putting the right tenants there so we can sustain our development. And that's our goal, is to sustain this. And we are committed, and we want to give him one more opportunity. But if you guys agree on our terms and our ask, Hopefully I can work with Gita on that. We'll convert that to a development agreement, a amended development agreement. So other than just everything in letter writing, we can put it in written agreement with timelines and time frame and schedules that you probably would like to see and Gita would like to see, so we know when these additional payments will come in. And then we know what our impact would be in regards to the rent schedules. I hope that's pretty clear. I'm not sure if I tried to put everything in one thought. And then finally, on our phase 2 and 3, I'll keep this option open. I'm glad to hear that I don't have the copy of that statute that you guys described earlier today in regards to a PPP, private public partnership. Now, we're willing to bring to my board the opportunity on phase 2 and 3, if we like to see what the potential triple P partnership can be. But in the meantime, we're assuming we're going to develop it all the way through, and this was our schedule. But we're flexible in looking at what you guys described earlier. If the statute, or Guam statute, allows you, we are willing to look at our phase 2 and 3 on some type of PPP if you guys want to explore that angle. If not, then we'll stick to our aggressive schedule to try to get you as much as we can. But at the end of the day, we just don't want our debt ratio to be impacted. So we'll borrow as high as we can to cover our liability and minimize our liability on the amortization side of it.
Basically, Carlos, correct me if I'm wrong. In phase 2 and 3, what Northern Market is saying that they are considering, as far as the PPP, is to be in partnership with the Ancestral Lands Commission if the commission is statutorily allowed to do so, to become partners, as in partner developers.
I only say that because I just heard that today. I heard that today as one of the options. So that kind of put a little light in the tunnel, since we already got the development agreement statute, other than moving forward ourselves, or if we're willing to include you guys or include Guamster's Land as a partner in phase 2 and 3.
Yes.
As the thought, again, it's just a discussion based on what I heard 20 minutes ago when you guys brought it up. Again, this was just on the record what you guys brought up.
Thank you, Carlos. Very good. I appreciate that. That sounds good. I mean, that's the type of opportunities we're looking at. Whether it is, can we get Gita? Gita, have you had time to look over Northern Market's proposal?
Well, sir, I mean, we have the first proposal that they had formally submitted to the commission, as well as the second. And so what Carlos is talking about right now, would be a little bit more on the detail side, as far as like schedule, like, when they say phase 1 and phase 2, previously they didn't give you a time. They didn't give you a date. They didn't give you an amount. But, it's, from in working with Carlos, it's becoming more refined. And in addition to that, Northern Market, depending on their development schedule and the potential that they may consider, if possible, may consider Ancestral Lands as a developer partner. That throws in something else for Gita to look at. And I would rather have some kind of a schedule in front of you, commissioners, so that you can take a look at the positives and negatives about it, as opposed to just going off the cuff right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Mr. Chair, real quick, I just wanted to let you know who's Carlos? The tenant on phase 1. I think once we announce and put the whiteboard up and announce the potential tenant that's gonna come there, I think phase 2 and 3 will be a lot easier to put out to the market because phase 1, we have a bank, we have a big bank that's just, we secured their commitment. The same bank that's the money, by the way. And Daiso. Daiso is a large dollar store, Japanese store that's gonna open in Don Quixote, and they're opening one up there. So we got 2 large anchor tenants on phase 1. Once that is announced, once we are able to announce that this is where they're coming, we think phase 2 and 3 will automatically, because once I put we never put a sign up there like I told you guys since November last year. Once we put coming soon sign, I have a great feeling we'll have a lot of potential demand for the other smaller spaces, but we wanted to secure the big anchor in phase 1 so we can get a little seed money. But our infrastructure costs us, we didn't know what that was going to cost us. We tightened the number and we got up to July when we know we can start the construction. So we tightened it up to July. The only thing, our only outstanding left is our system development charge or GWA because of the sewer and water connection. But we put all that numbers in. That's how we're able to find a little extra money to increase our 150 to 500,000. I'm hoping that if we become the same developer ourselves, if you look at the last letter, we were going to deposit another 150 in phase 2 and 150 in phase 3. As the same format we stated in phase 1. And if any construction savings, we add more. But if that's where I can work with Gita to how I can improve that so we can increase that to be altogether, it will come up to $1 million, 5 plus 5. But right now it's 5 plus 3. It's 800,000. Then amortization. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify that. Or the option, if we're not violating any law, if you guys become a triple P partner on the remaining balance.
Okay, so just for clarification, Carlos, in this new new proposal, the phase 1, the phase 2 and phase 3, they're not yet in essence, they're still taken out of this proposal until after the first phase.
I think what I'll do is we color coded our development plan. I'm not sure we gave that to Gita, but maybe Gita will send you guys a copy to see how we color coded what's phase 1, where's phase 2, and how big is the remaining phase 3. You know what I mean? 2 and 3. So you guys can see the ways developed, but the infrastructure is all in for all the lots.
But okay, but just for clarification, you're basically gonna start. You want to start paying rent on the first phase, and you want to leave out the second and third phase for now. Still the same, correct?
No, asking for until we start the construction deferment for that because we haven't got our tenant base. But I think after we start the phase 1, we can see if we overlap that to start the second, the second and third. And I think that's what will happen once we do our announcement. But I don't want to talk and to how that's going to say. I don't want to make no commitment because we're here in the minutes and because, hey, you told me you're going to build in 30 days. You know what I mean? I want to just say, here's a way we're doing our phasing in approach. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see. I know we're gonna have to take an in-depth look at it as Gita advised, but and right now you're still paying the whole lease, correct? You're paying the whole lease, but
you're going to be liable for it. We're not asking for any discount. No, you're right. We're still going to be liable for whatever the number is. And our goal is to try to close this as fast as we can and get this built as fast because we don't want to compound it any further. The last 3 years was delayed because of the many different situations as we did in every case, from labor issue, all that little situation that we had. But we never asked for an abatement.
Okay, so I take it that Gita too is.
We're here to stay. We're not. We owe $1, we'll pay $1. plus the interest, whatever that owe.
Thank you, Carlos. You know, a big factor is Gita. So the board definitely has Gita's critical in our decision. So I know, Gita, you just basically this new proposal, correct? So I guess you're gonna need to peruse over it more, and then because we're gonna want your approval, the board's gonna want your approval as well.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I completely understand, and that's why, I am very, very reluctant, to rush into anything like this. I really want to fine tune Carlos Northern Market's proposal. And I'm not going to look at this one, just on my own, but I'm going to bring in the business development manager of Gita, as well as finance manager for Gita. This is going to be a whole team effort, look into, so that, when we present it to Northern Market, exactly to the T what Northern Market is asking for, the benefits, the ups, the downs, the potential risks. So, as opposed to just, shooting off the cuff in this meeting, the Northern Market is right now under a 30-day clock. And so, but they have come to the table, and they are, they diligently want to make this work for both Northern Market, for the commission. And, Gita's always been on, has always been on the side of development and economic activity, promoting such. But, at the same time, Gita is also the, the agent for the commission. So, we're towing the line between the two, and just making sure what we really want is for both sides to get the best deal, because both sides getting the best deal is, the interest of the, of the entire island. And,
Yes, correct.
that's Gita's position. So, with Northern Market's, willingness to, to make a 30% down payment on their arrears, as well as, offering some pretty creative, ways forward that will be beneficial to both sides. I think it's prudent that, Gita doesn't just take a quick look, but to take a deep dive, really sit down, get some schedules. To
Okay, so what?
to do that.
Diego,
Yes, sir.
based upon the new information we have, how do we propose moving forward? I mean, how's that 30-day timeline talking about?
Well,
how do we? I know we need to peruse information, but I'd also like to give the board members a chance to just some quick questions for Carlos, if that's possible, after you give me your assessment on how to move forward with this.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm talking about the 30-day timeline. At least we need to address that first.
We need to solidify our ask and all the steps that we ask, and our side will put a development agreement together so we can either agree and have you guys approve. So we have something tangible that's tangible, other than letter writing. And like, Commissioner Weston keeps saying, I'm just tired of letter writing and tired of letter writing. So let's convert this proposal into a development agreement, an amended development agreement and then we'll attach the exhibit on the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and our proposal that we've been working with Gita. So our attorneys will put that into an agreement format that we feel satisfied, so we can invest, because we're getting our money from our bank that for phase 1, that we restructured so we can pay you guys the $500,000.
Mr. Chair, Secretary Treasurer Cruz has her hands up.
Diego
Okay.
appears hesitant. Appears to need a little bit more time. When did we receive this notice? The new proposal? Because he hasn't obviously, and I think he would. No, we rely on Gita's recommendation. We strongly rely on Gita's recommendation, but I think we require or they have a work ones that were involved in the first work session regarding the northern market.
Commissioner Cruz, I think what's being discussed is a counter proposal now. And what I think
Right.
we're gonna need if we're not gonna take action today is to grant an extension, because the current notice is 30 days. The clock started on April, I believe, 28th. Unless the commission would like to look into this and provide Gita enough time to review it, I think what we should do is ask Diego how much more time does he need, because the next commission meeting will be on June 14 if we keep it on a Wednesday.
Now, it's fine now.
I mean, is that something that we're looking at? Are we going to entertain this?
How many?
Because if the issue here is that we're looking forward to entertain Mr. Camacho's proposal, then we do need time.
Gita?
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Chair, the executive director is correct. You know, this is indeed a counter proposal. And it is correct that, you know, we would need a little bit more time. I do believe, strongly believe that, you know, that by the next meeting, you know, we can have something substantial, you know, for the commission to look over. So yes, that is what Gita is recommending, asking for. If the commission would grant us till the next meeting in order to work with Northern Market and vet this proposal, which we told them the last proposal was no way. So, you know, let's get back to the table and really work on this.
Okay, would that give you enough time to work out the advantages and disadvantages so that we can also fit in a work session as what Madam Secretary was mentioning, so that before the next board meeting we have a definitive.
Yes, sir. You know, that would really depend on, you know, on your and you know, other commissioner availability. You know, that's a scheduling thing. I'm very confident that, you know, within, you know, 20 days, you know, I can, you know, Gita can, you know, work with the Northern Market to, you know, to iron out all of the details, you know, for their counter proposal. So as far as like scheduling a work session, that would really depend on, you know, your availability and the commission's availability, I guess.
Okay, and would you have within that 20 days a support or a position on supporting their proposal, or having a you know,
Yes,
what I mean,
sir.
one way or the other to advise the board?
Yes, sir. You know, we could, you know, Gita can have a recommendation by that time.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, I
Okay.
mean, you know, it's as I've always taken this. I'm sorry?
Is it necessary to have a work session after?
Sir, it's, you know, it's really up to you. My goal would be to, Gita's goal would be to, you know, work with Northern Market in earnest to, you know, to iron out all of the details. And then, you know, we're always going to try to do it, you know, as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So, you know, once we have that, you know, we'll alert, you know, the executive director, and, you know, from there we can schedule either a work session or, you know, take it straight to the board. It's really at your discretion. But we can
Okay,
have
so
it.
regarding the 30-day timeline, we're going to extend it.
Mr.
Recommend
Chairman,
extending it.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chairman?
the vice chair has had his
Yes,
hand up for some
Commissioner
time.
Camacho.
Oh, sorry, Vice Chair had his hand up first.
Yeah.
But then
Okay,
after I
thank
have a
you.
comment.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
I
I'm
just
sorry.
want to thank, I just want to thank
I have to move
Northern
slowly.
Marketing. Carlos, thank you for sharing your plan with us, and your efforts to pay that $500,000, and that's the kind of efforts that we like working with you. And as what Diego said, you know, now it work both sides to benefit the entire island of Guam. And that triple P is what we have always been
Okay.
alluding to with the chairman. And that, as you said, no more red letter writings.
I second that. So,
Set up the
Commissioner,
proposal. Yeah, set up the proposal and get it, work with Mr. Diego and we want to thank you. And with that 500, that $500,000 payment and working out the details for phase 2 and 3. But even to add on, we would like to be a part of phase 1, if anyway, because we have been looking at that, right, Mr. Chairman? And now,
that's true.
thank you for giving us the opportunity. We can work things out. We're open because we want to be partners, so to speak. That's how I feel. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Camacho.
Thank you, Vice
asked
Chair,
to be next.
Commissioner Camacho.
In the interest of time, of course, because we've only been talking about this for quite some time, could we request for one of the commissioners who agreed to be on the committee to meet with Gita and Northern Market? That way, we at least have somebody from the commissioners, somebody from the commission to represent during those meetings?
Yes, ma'am. I don't have any, Gita doesn't have any issue with that.
Okay. Anybody want to volunteer?
Mr. Chair, if we're going to get into the triple P, we do have a couple of commissioners who have been appointed to our investment committee, and that's his Secretary Treasurer Cruz and Commissioner Camacho. If we're looking at that, then they would be the appropriate people to be assigned to that.
Mr. Director, I'm thinking
Yes.
though, I think we're still negotiating, right? I think we're still
Yes.
negotiating an extension.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's somebody from the committee that was tasked to look into the Northern Market lease or license. I'm not sure which one it is, but I'm thinking it's somebody from there, just so that they can say, no, we've discussed this and we're not interested in doing that. Yes, I think that this is appropriate to bring to the board, just so that we're not
Okay.
leaving it to Gita to make certain decisions on our behalf.
Okay, so the commissioners who were in attendance was the chairman, Clavea, and Commissioner Westling.
Yes, that's correct. And at this point, I would like to I agree with Diego's earlier recommendation that that he have the opportunity to vet this clearly, and for all of this to be put in writing, and then for us to take a look at it first before we really talk about anything else as far as the partnerships and anything like that at this point.
Okay, but to explore this, I think we would need more time, and we are on a timetable right now. I think what's being asked is to extend at least to the next meeting on June 14. And according to Diego, he sees that something probably could be ironed out between now and then, or at least have another proposal ready. That would take an action by the board.
Well, I'd like to see just this proposal that was verbally discussed today. That he presented. I want to see that all in writing, because I want to have more details, and then be able to have, like we had at the working session, a discussion on this to see if this is something that the subcommittee can even recommend to the board at this point, because this information has basically just been thrust upon us right now. And I, for one, am not prepared to make any decisions on this until I see everything outlined.
Well, I can let me make a suggestion real quick, and I agree with Commissioner Camacho and Commissioner Westling. I think let's give time for Gita to us and put things together, and we'll play it by ear if we need to meet with Gita on a work session. We'll see if that's we'll put that we'll leave that up in the air, and let's take it from there. And what about this extension? We need to decide.
What
to,
do you mean? The extension, I mean, it basically expired
There's a
back in
30-day.
November, right? I mean, we haven't granted any extensions that I can recall of beyond it
No, there's
expired.
there's a 30-day notice given to Northern Market. That 30 days is going to run out.
I believe the clock, Diego, am I correct? The clock started on April 28th?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, started April 28th.
yeah, the extension, it was based reference to the notice that was served to them.
Yes.
Yes, sir. The commission wanted a notice, and so, Gita executed as instructed, to Northern Market. So, the notice did have the desired effect where, Northern Market is working in earnest to, tighten up their numbers, be more specific with their timelines and the amounts. And so they have come to the table. And so, with this, that's
I
why.
think we should extend it.
But
I think we should extend it. I think we should extend it. What?
To June
another-
14, to June 14.
Otherwise,
Yes, sir. Yeah, currently the 30 days from April 28 would end up in June 28. So just to be on the safe side so that we can do this properly, really vet Northern Markets new proposal, and then also allow time for Commissioner Westling and Chairman to have a work session, so we can go over it in more detail if desired. So what I'm asking for, what Gita's recommending and asking for is an additional 30 days to the 30 days that was already noticed. So
Okay.
that would mean instead of June 28 would be July 28.
Wait, Diego, that would be June because the 30 days would
It'd be
expire
June.
in May. It was given April.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
April
Yes.
to May.
Yeah.
Yes.
My apologies.
yeah.
Yeah, so June 28, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, June 28. So
Let's
that's
extend
so-
it. Let's not delay anymore. Let's extend it.
Okay.
They've got a new proposal. It's a better proposal than the last one. Let's give Gita a chance to look it over. I trust our commissioners, Commissioner Camacho, Commissioner Westling, everybody, Vice Chair. Let's
Yeah.
look at it, and then it looks like it's a better offer than the last one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's look at it. So can we get a motion on the floor?
Right here. Mr. Chair?
There he is.
Okay,
Right here. Okay,
Vice Chair.
okay. If I may, motion to grant them the extension of for the date of June 28. In reference to
Okay.
the matter that were being discussed on the
Okay,
Northern
so motion
Marketing
on the floor
matter.
to extend it 30 days. Okay, do I hear,
Yes.
do I hear a second?
I second it.
Okay, discussion? No? No discussion? Okay, let's vote. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
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 Any nays? No nays, Director?
So
We've
noted,
extended
Mr. Chair.
the deadline?
Yes,
okay.
June 28, Northern Market's been granted an extension to a time, and we'll get together with Gita. I plan to attend those meetings, and of course, I'll be informing you and Commissioner Westling and any other commissioner who would like to attend. Mr. Chair,
Okay.
because of the time, we do have the Deputy Administrator, Michelle Lastimosa from EPA here. And we also have family members of the estate of Galo Lujan Salas that are present. So now that we have the extension, could we move forward? Because I'm looking at the
Okay.
timeline here.
Okay,
Okay,
very
thank
good,
you.
Director.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Carlos.
Very good.
Thank you, Diego.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Carlos.
Tony.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
Thank you,
Señor
Tony.
Posse, everybody.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you as well.
Okay,
you, sir.
thank you, Gita. Let's move down to B. Are we moving down to GAPA?
Yes, that would be
Okay.
next on the agenda, the
Okay.
EPA outstanding arrears.
Okay, we're on item 7. Item B, old business, GAPA outstanding arrears.
Hi, good afternoon, Executive Director, Chairman, and Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to address our arrears at Guam EPA. So just a little bit of backstory. I'm hoping to make this quick. I've got 7% on my battery here. So I'm going to make it quick. A little bit of backstory. So in 2019, during the height of the rainy season, we noticed significant leaks at our ops building, which is one of 2 buildings that Guam EPA houses. So during that time, we informed, then Executive Director Joseph Ngoko of these significant leaks. I mean, there were leaks throughout the entire building. Our staff were having to literally wear, raincoats and rain boots inside the building because it was practically raining from the ceilings, the water fixtures, the seams, everywhere. It was literally, it was raining inside the building. So fast forward, through discussions, IFBs, scope of works, and then the final issuance of the contract to repair the building in 2020. Renovation and replacement of the roof was completed in July of 2021. So this is, from 2019 to 2021. Was this period of reporting the leaks at the ops building to finally getting the RFP and award issued to a contractor to make those repairs. In that time, and unfortunately, both directors and Guam EPA's administrator is off island, but there was discussion about putting a pause on on our rent. Because of the situation at our ops building, being damaged and, it was almost completely unusable. Thank goodness. And unfortunately, during COVID, we didn't have very many people come to the office and we were on a flex schedule. So when things dried up, it was okay. But, when the rains came, there was always guaranteed, leaks in the office, buckets on the floor filled with water, computer damage, furniture damage from that leak. We did resume payment to Ancestral Lands in fiscal year 2021 when the roof was repaired. So we have a little bit of a dispute with the amount of arrears that Ancestral Lands is claiming, because we were current up until 2019 into fiscal year 2020 through the repair and reconstruction of the roof until 2021. So we don't believe that our arrears is the $256,000. We think it may be around 168 for the 18 months that the roof was kind of in limbo. And so we're open to reviewing or auditing our payments. But we are current, so from fiscal year 2021 to current, we have been paying rent. So it's not like we have not, been paying our rent. But there was a discussion during that period. And again, maybe, at the time, I know that the commission didn't have a full board. And there was, you know, a lapse in the meetings. So I'm open to the discussion. And I do have
Mr.
our
Chairman?
ASO here as well.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Camacho.
Mr. Chairman, you're on mute. You're still on mute, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair. There. we go.
Okay, sorry about that. Continue. Okay, Commissioner Camacho.
Okay. Mitch? Deputy Director Lastimosa?
Yes, I hear you. I'm sorry. I was on mute. I
Okay.
do hear you.
Okay, so do you have anything in writing regarding abatement or any kind of deferment or anything for the period that you're talking about? Do you have anything maybe signed by the prior director, an agreement that rent would be abated or deferred, anything
So-
of that sort?
Right. So the discussion began like late January of 2020. And then,
Yeah.
you know, those discussions happened between, you know, of course, our administrator and then executive director and GOCO. And then the pandemic hit, you know,
Yeah.
a month and a half later.
Yeah.
And,
So-
you know, kind of in the throes of, you know, that, you know, the beginning of the pandemic, you know, those discussions were made verbally. And, you know, we're not
Wow.
opposed to, you know, paying the arrears, right? Because I mean, certainly there is no black and white. There was no black and white, but at the same time, we want to, you know, go on the record and say that the $256,000 is not accurate with what we have in our accounting. You know, paying rent up until the report was made of the leaky roof till the time that the roof was completed. So, or the repairs to the roof was completed. And
So was there were there any emails maybe between the two directors? Were there any emails regarding rent?
So we did look at that, and you know, aside from you know the recollection of myself, our ASO, and Gita, you know, there was recollection that discussion was had. And again, that was, you know, that was in January, maybe, I'm sorry, early February, when we kind of got the discussion going on, you know, using, you know, Gita funds to repair the roof. And then a month later, we were thrown into the pandemic. So there is an email that kind of alludes to it, but, you know, certainly nothing specific, which is, you know, why we're here to say, okay, you know, I think we may have to own up to it, you know, because there is nothing in black and white that would stipulate that there was this, you know, deferment of payment. And we have already requested through our federal counterpart to request for approval of those funds to make those payments towards the arrears. But we do want an audit on the amount because we don't believe it's $256,000.
All right, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Michelle, would you have a problem with working with Gita to reconcile your records with what Gita has with us at Ancestral Lands?
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
I know that Ancestral Lands took it upon itself to pay for the repair of the roof, but the license agreement we have with EPA states that the maintenance of the property described shall be borne by the licensee, which is EPA, not Ancestral Lands. But we took it upon ourselves to pay for that. But in reality, if you look at the license agreement with the MOU and the license, it should, and it could have been EPA. But I know that the commissioners decided that they would cover the total amount. So that time with being the downtime, I mean, I know that they would look at that too. So we'll try to work something out. I mean, we did it because EPA needed to have a roof and maybe didn't have the money. And so for whatever reason, that decision was made before I came on board, and they honored it all the way through to the end.
Right. I know that there was talks about, our new building and,
Yes,
so, that is currently in the works. We did receive 9.75 acres of property up in Dedido, to which we, have inherited somewhat contaminated
messy-
property,
messy
which we're
property, yeah.
using, right, which we're using as a sort of a poster child project using brownfields money and emergency response circular money to clean up the property. So we're not looking at vacating the ops building for at least a couple of years, maybe even 3. Depending on how smoothly things go. But I just also want to point out on the record that we are receiving complaints of the roof leaking again at the seams. So we're having to deal with going into the rainy season in a few months and having to deal with another leaky roof. But we are certainly willing to meet our obligations, but we would like to reconcile what we owe. So we will work with GITA, or do we work with Ancestral Lands to?
Gita is our property managers in
Okay,
this.
so we'll
So
reconcile with them.
Tony,
Okay, noted. We'll do. We'll
Noted.
work with
Okay.
people in the reconciling of the account summary. That's not a problem with us.
okay, commissioners, would that be fine with you that they would, EPA will work together with EPA to reconcile?
I'm good with that.
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course, since Gita's our property manager and they have all the records basically with them. We have some. I know we have some in our archives, but Gita should have a good handle and then advice.
Okay. And I know we also have the estate of Galo Lohan Salas and
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
their family members here. I mean, if it's fine with you,
Okay.
we come to an agreement with EPA and we'll move
Yeah.
forward.
Mhm.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
EPA. Thank you.
Okay, thank you too.
Thank you. So Director, we
Mr.
move on to
Chair.
the, is that the last item?
Yes, it is. They are the last item.
Is that the last
I-
item?
Yes.
Yes, the last item is number 7, new business, A, estate of Galo Lujan Salas, modification of easement.
Okay, we have the family here. Perhaps they could speak up to their request.
Day. This is Shirley Kichuchu. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is this Joey that's gonna present this, Director, or?
Well, we could have that, but at least let the family voice their requests first of what they want, and then Joey could speak to the technicalities of it.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to speak tonight. The family of Galo Salas would like to request a proposal for a 20-foot easement from lot 2455, which is a government land, to lot 2450, and then either a straight 20 feet easement to the point where the 40-foot easement at the west boundary of lot 2449, as shown on the lady's survey map. Or another one is a 20-foot easement between the boundaries of lot 2450 and lot 2452 to lot 2449. It is really costly for the family to come up with a 40-foot easement. And given that the Navy has already retained half of the lot 2450 and has indicated that they're unwilling to provide easement accessibility from the golf course, we would like to ask the commission to assist us. I'd like to also note that we are half of the Salas and here's are also part of the Paris lot 2449, and the easement is running up right between our two properties that the government is unwilling to give all the property back.
And it's buffering.
Joey, are you ready to go over the technical issues?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's all yours, Joey.
Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, and so does everybody see the map I am displaying right now?
Yes, clear.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so this is the lot that the family what was it returned to the family, lot 2450. And this red line here is the proposed boundary, the proposed easement, 40-foot easement within the Radio Barragata area. A portion of their lot was returned. The remaining portion was kept by the United States, which is where the former Admiral Nimitz Golf Course is. And so in her letter, what they are proposing is to somehow, this is the government lot 2455, and what she's proposing is to reroute this or create another easement to connect to their lot. And one way to do that is the director and I have looked at is to run the 40-foot easement this way. That way it would not affect this lot. And then we can go north then we can go north here and then connect it all the way up to 2449. The only problem is, she's asking for a 20-foot easement. With the subdivision law, because everybody else gave up 40 feet, or it's been identified to be a 40-foot easement, land management would not record any subdivision map if it doesn't conform with the existing road plans. So to reduce it to 20 feet, it would not be possible. And again, land management wouldn't approve their map. I think what they're trying to do is remove this 40-foot easement, but this lot has already surveyed their property, and they already reserved the 40-foot easement. So again, if they want to connect from here to here, we would have to get the permission of this lot if we're not going to make the full 40 on their property. So, and then also here, this landowner would have to be contacted to see if they would be willing to agree to give up 20 feet here. So it would be 20 here, and 40 foot here, unless these landowners are willing to give up another 20 feet, which would require them to resurvey their property. So this is, I mean, that's their request. And my recommendation or from my research to reduce it to 20 feet, it wouldn't be possible, again, based on the subdivision law. And the subdivision law says that, they would have to conform with the existing road plans, which is 40 feet. They do not want to go from 40 to 20 and then 40.
Hey, Mr. Chair, I hope you understand what Joey's saying is that the owners of lot at the upper right-hand corner, lot 2449, has already surveyed their property, divided it, and placed in the easement based on the proposal. There, he's showing you the map of that now. So that easement is already in.
Yes.
And therefore, any easement would have to connect to that one. And if we were to make changes, then we would have to inform everybody in that area the possibility of changes occurring.
Can I speak, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
I am part of the 2449. That is the Leon Guerrero's property, and we have not completed the survey for the 2449-3. We are working on that right now, and we are just waiting on the distribution of the land. We have our surveyor already, on standby. So
I see. So, Joey and Director, what is your recommendation? What's your proposal?
Well, we can't landlock. What was mentioned is the lot 2449-3. What about 2449-2? The easement is already agreed to, I guess, in this division of the lots, that they would have an easement running up in the north end. Somehow we would have to connect to that.
I have a question.
Vice Chair?
Are the Salases and the Leon Guerreros family?
okay, my grandfather, my grandmother is the Leon Guerrero, and my grandfather is the Salas. And
Oh, okay. Well, if you guys can work it out, because the way I saw it earlier, what my initial thought was, if you're going to deal with the family members that have, are in the process of surveying it, if you guys work it among your families, I wouldn't have any objection on that. But on our particular lot, which is 2275, right? Does that belong to ancestral lands, Mr. Director? 2455?
No.
2455.
Yeah, only 2455 is ours.
Right.
Yes.
So we would still have to discuss this with the owners of 2275 and 2452. Because that means that we will be asking them to take a portion of their lot.
Yeah, that would
So
be the more critical matter.
It's not that it's impossible, but it is a mountain to climb somewhat. Correct?
Well, it's
yes.
it's going to require the cooperation and the agreement of adjacent property owners.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's not something that the Guam Ancestral Lands can just arbitrarily decide.
Right.
With
That's what.
the exception of 2455, but in order, especially since an easement is already recorded on the initial parceling of lot 2449, when that was subdivided into two, the easement on this north side, I guess, it's a recorded easement.
For sure.
Yeah,
Director, also, how does this affect? Does this just very little effect on the hospital if they decide to go up to our area, right?
Yeah, it would not affect it because the property there for the, it's just an alternate site at this time, but if should they build the hospital there, then, I know they'll put easements in or access to all the properties around through that lot. And then that again will be based on the agreement of the commission itself and of course the legislature. So
Yeah.
you could see with this, all the ones that have the blue dots on it, those are the Crown properties. And what is being discussed is further up north of it. So I don't think placing an easement over the ancestral lands property there would have any major effect on having a hospital complex built in this general area, should that decision be made. But if it is made, then anybody who owns property within that area, we could imagine their price and value of their land would skyrocket. So
Is that route 15 right there in the bottom, on the bottom corner, going towards the right? That's
Yes.
route.
Yes.
Okay.
But
Well,
I agree with
Joey,
Commissioner Westling, there is a map with an easement cut out on it, and it's gonna take a lot of work. And then we have to get the property owners in the general area with this being discussed, to bring them into the discussion.
well, my initial thoughts is, Director, you and Joey can quarterback it and then just let us know, I think, because
Yeah.
there's like a couple of, yeah, it looks like it's outside of our scope with those other guys on the right side, those private landowners.
It is.
But I
outside
guess you
the
would
scope.
have to,
It is
Yeah.
outside the scope of our responsibility.
Yeah.
We can work within government lands. And then the issue with the easement being placed up there in the north is, should those properties north of that ever be returned? We would not want to landlock those properties.
yeah. Well, we're at a loss per se, Director.
And we were trying to figure a way to accommodate, but it means other people giving up part of their property, and they'd have to do so willingly.
Yep.
I mean, we want to help, but I'm sorry. You go ahead. Go ahead.
I just, you know, it was it really fair that it ran right through our property and we weren't aware of it. According to my Auntie Evelyn, she wasn't even aware that there was an easement running up that right in the middle of the property. They did not notice it when they got the map.
Yeah, her map was they surveyed their property prior to the approval of the master plan. So the master plan was approved in 2018.
You're talking about
2016, yeah.
You're talking about her lot, Joey?
Yes, yeah. So this 2450. So yeah, we returned the land, their lot, prior to the approval of the tentative master plan.
Yeah, that was just tentative. Yeah.
What happened? What's wrong? You're all
So
right.
basically what it is when these original landowners start recording their maps or start surveying their properties, what land management is going to do is they're going to follow this tentative Rate of Aragon and master plan, and that's where they'll start reserving easements for these properties when they start subdividing. So instead of
ma'am, ma'am, if they build the hospital there on Crown lands, your property becomes significant. Those surrounding properties become significant, but the issue right now is the so Joey, regarding that that's a 40-foot easement, Joey, going to the property in the middle.
Yes.
But that's an advantage too, also to the property owner there, because right? It's right on the main road.
The 24, my grandfather and my grandmother's property are the only properties that the easement runs right through it. When you're looking at this, the easement is running alongside, on the sides of properties with the exception of our property. And it's the only two properties that it runs through. The
Yeah, I
easement
see
runs.
that.
Okay, the property, okay, we're talking, okay, now regarding 2450. The part on the north side of it, that's returned to Joey or not?
Not
No,
returned.
So is that like the border of the fence or something?
Yes.
The border of the golf course.
That the border golf, yeah, the golf course fence?
Admiral, yeah, the Admiral.
I don't think there's any fence there. It's just the boundary of the golf course.
Yeah, there was a fence there on that site.
Only the
No,
Going across, going down,
Well,
right?
it's the easement runs along the side of the properties that have been accessed and returned. That's where the easements have been placed, not on the federal properties.
So that road is actually right on the boundary of the return, correct?
yes, correct.
Okay. So Director and Joey, we're at your mercy.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Chairman, as I see that, yeah, I guess the Navy plays that easement line according to the release of properties.
No, it was land management that
No,
placed the easement line.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, land
Yeah.
management. But I understand that. I see her point there. Look at that. Everybody else got it on the boundaries.
Well, I mean, that's the same with this lot, 2250. It went, and basically what it was is land management tried to minimize any,
Yes,
to
I
minimize
understand.
so they where they could, they followed the boundary lines, so it'd be 2020. But other than that, you can see 40 feet here. This is 40 feet here.
Yeah.
40 feet here, 40 feet here, 40 feet here. This guy's 40 feet,
Yeah.
three ways, and again, so this is the best that land management could come up with. And
You gotta change.
within the government lots where it would traverse the government boundaries, it went entirely on the government land, the 40 feet. Otherwise, again, it's 2020 if it could be between the in between the two lots.
2452 is a private owner or it's been returned?
Both private landowner and it's been returned.
20, that's 2452. And you're saying that in order for them to reach 2449, they also have to get
Yeah.
permission from 2452.
Yeah, so yeah, Mr. Birch is saying we would need to notify them that we're gonna change the master plan. And now the plan is to route.
So Joey, what's the problem with, again?
So I don't see any benefit of rerouting it because this landowner is still gonna be giving up 20 feet here,
Right.
20 feet here,
Uh-huh.
and then 40 feet here. So there's still gonna be there's still gonna be an easement cutting going through their property. But if
Joey, is the request just because the property because it's going through the property? Is that the request? That's the problem because it's going through the property and they want to move it? Is that
they want to move it and they also want to decrease it from 40 feet to 20 feet. So that's the
Can't do that.
request.
Then you can't do that.
Yeah, because you have to touch the other property.
Yeah.
But even though it's going through the middle of the property, that one on the north's not released.
Correct. So the
So
same with 2451, they're also giving up 40 feet.
Yeah.
So, it's not that it was on purpose. It's just the best planning route that land management came up with. And,
I understand.
Straighter roads are better than, zigzag and that was part of what why they came up with this plan. So,
Okay, so
that's the
24
request.
yes, yes, so 2450 is asking us to see if we can remove that one up there. I don't know if we have the authority to, but to remove that and provide
No.
it through our property at 2455. Right?
And take some of 2450,
At
57,
2457 and going,
52 or 7?
52.
2452.
Okay,
No,
so
'cause the owner has to be informed about,
yes,
That's correct. And they have to agree,
right?
right?
and
As
even
with-
giving up an inch of a piece of
Mhm.
property is challenging in itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why the government steps in.
Yeah.
The
and
only thing
No,
the only thing
yeah.
Ancestral, our director, can do is
His
on
owners
his own accord to ask those other families, but that's not really the scope. We're out to help with easements, but we're at the mercy of what they're going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's actually, I believe, you correct me if I'm wrong, we would only have authority over decisions for the Crown lands.
Yeah.
But as far as the private properties, that would have to be worked out between the property owners themselves.
Right.
Yeah, Guam Ancestral Lands has no authority to go in to make proposals or
And
to
undo
private
that.
property owners. Yeah.
Yeah, the director can make a kind gesture to the other families, but that's the most he can probably
That's-
do.
That would be the extent of it. Yeah.
Yeah, the extent of it is just, hey, we have a family owner, and then, but in all likelihood, in my opinion, it ain't gonna happen.
We can't undo that.
I mean,
No,
I'm as far as like 2452 giving up their property for that easement going up. I don't see that.
But
At all.
her point is that government easements is government.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she's bringing it to our attention, because we are,
Yeah.
part of the government.
Right.
She's asking for
we
help.
understand
Yeah.
that. Yes, we do. And we empathize, but we all know too, how many years it took for the government to come up with this master plan and how many times it was vetted.
Yeah, this was
Yeah,
vetted.
I mean, it was years and years and years. And, as I recall, primarily for that same reason, because most people felt that it was unfair, that some had to give so
Yeah.
much, others didn't give as much, and we totally empathized and understood that. But had this not been done, then all those properties would still be landlocked,
Yeah.
to this day. But so, Ms. Kichichu, has your family spoken to the owners of 2452 and 2449 to see if they are willing?
Well, we are 24, my grandmother is 2449, and at this point, the Leon Guerreros are trying to negotiate actually with 2442, the skydiving. We were looking, which is the cheapest way that we can do that.
Okay,
To come in that way, further up north would have been above the 2442-5, I believe is what they were looking at, to come in there. So
Well,
what
the way I
about-
look at it, you only have the problem with 2452
yes,
because that's the only issue is 2452, and that's if you get them to agree.
Mr.
To-
Chair, it
to-
also
to-
include lot 2275. They're asking 2020 in each side of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be, so those would be the additional property owners. So
Oh, I-
have you, have they
And-
spoken to, has the family
Yeah.
spoken to the owners of 2452?
no, ma'am. They have not spoken to that. They were focusing more on working with the easement that is there, but we know that is very costly, you know, to use the current easement. And so we were trying to negotiate with the 2442 to get us in there some way and give up a little piece of our property in exchange for giving us some, you know, a road in, because we
But,
can't,
yeah.
we have no way to go into the property at this time.
Well, how about this? Regarding 22, the one the director just brought up regarding 2275.
That's government.
No.
No.
2275 is private.
Private, I'm sorry.
And
Yeah.
they've already given
Okay.
up 40 feet right through the
Right.
middle of their property.
Already.
They
on your
already
property.
did. Yeah.
Okay, the way I see it is if you work out a compensation because you're right up north of them, and let's say we run the easement not on 2452, but on the 2275, and then on your 2450, the easement will run on your property, not touching 2452, going up to 2449. So only on your 2450, the road would be on your boundary, but inside of the boundary line on your side. So all of the easement would be on your 2450, not touching 2452 at all. The only problem now is 2275. But you compensating them somehow because they're gonna have to give up on their side the easement totally on their side of the property, not touching 2452.
They already took some at 2275.
No, they didn't. They didn't take anything.
What's that red light?
That-
Oh,
The easement, Mr. Chair, does go through. They did give up 40 feet.
yes. Yes.
And then
But you're gonna
20 feet of-
remove that, right? If they
No.
remove
We-
that,
We can't,
landlocked.
we would landlock 2451.
Yeah,
Right.
you can't. Yeah, now then 2451 would not have any access.
Yeah.
I see. So then it'll have to stop at the top of 2275. But what I'm saying is 2450 would have to compensate 2275 for the loss on this easement going up that road. They would have to at least adjust their portion to make up for that part to 2275 so they don't lose any land.
The only problem that, Mr. Chair, is if this family is even ready to
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
survey their property, you know,
Correct.
that's
That's right.
the problem. Are they
Yeah.
stuck in
Well-
probate, or, you know, have they even started probate? And so
Yeah.
that's the issue with everybody.
That's
Mhm.
where 2450 has to do their due diligence on that. That's the way I see it. If 2452 doesn't want to give up an inch,
Yeah,
compensate 2275. If maybe they're just on it, they would have to they would have to find out what the status is on that. And if it's just sitting idle, then she's stuck. If they don't plan on moving with it, or they're just taking their time and members are off island or something, whatever the case may be, that's the only real possibility I would see.
yeah.
Okay.
Because 2452, I don't see them giving up an easement.
So right
Just-
now, I'm sorry, so right now, everything that is in red, those are all recorded easements, correct?
No, the recorded easements are in green.
I understand. Okay, are in
Yeah.
green. So everything
Yes.
else is proposed.
Yes,
I
so
gotcha.
once,
Okay,
yeah, when
thank you.
everybody starts subdividing, this is what they'll
Yeah, it'll look like.
follow.
Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to be subdivided, but just so long as people start surveying their properties, right?
Yes,
And having new maps registered.
yes,
Then the red lines will turn to green.
Becomes green.
correct.
Gotcha. Okay, okay. But as far as we're concerned, we don't have the authority to propose at this point removing proposed lines without the consent and agreement of these private property owners that are adjacent to 2450.
Right.
Yeah, okay, okay. So I think that pretty much clarifies it. The families will need to get together, and come to a resolution, I would imagine.
It's the only way.
And then if they can, then we Guam Ancestral Lands with regards to 2455 can then make a decision, correct? On to,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
right? Because that's the only
Yes.
thing we have the authority on. Okay.
You're
yes.
correct.
Yeah,
Which
but
I
the base-
believe,
Go
which I
ahead.
believe once everything else is resolved, you know, that we would definitely be, you know, willing to look at this, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we want to help if we could, for sure.
Yes.
But our hands are tied.
Yeah, because there's a lot of moving factors here. It's not just a matter of running it through one thing, because as you pointed out earlier, you know, 2451, I mean, they need access too. You know, to the part that was returned to them, because a lot of their property has not been returned. It's still within the golf course greens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually.
Well,
2/3 property.
if we, oh yeah, I see. Well, if we
Yeah.
remove that top part going through the property, L 2275 provides access to 2451. They would save on that part. They'll have more land.
Yeah, but again, that's between the property owners to come to
What
that.
we well, yeah, I mean, if 2275 2275 is the key, provided 2450 is willing to just have the easement totally on their side of the property. See? Because 2275 is the key, because if they're not available, or they're just not, can we find out the status in that, Joey, somehow? At least what you have on your computer later?
What status?
On 2275, if there's whatever the status is on that, because that's the key right there.
It's returned.
It's returned, yeah, to the estate of Silvino Dueñas Pangilinan.
Yeah, it's returned.
Right, but
And
have
they have, no, they haven't, no.
Oh,
How about 2452?
No, they haven't returned it, and that's under Francisco Diaz. Or I'm sorry, the claimant is Francisco Diaz.
do you have the contact number that
Yes.
But
for
who-
the 2275?
It has an
Yes.
original landowner. And
Yes.
he's the
Okay.
claimant, Diaz?
Yes.
Now that would have to, the landowners would have to get a hold of them and find out if they're willing to do a compensation.
Right.
Miss Salas, right? Or Kichichu? I think our land agent can give you the number, and you would have to move from, you know, make the contact and find out. But you have to be, your family has to be willing to compensate them. Meaning you have to provide them the difference on what they're doing for the easement. So the 40-foot is going to be on their side to go up to lot 2450. You would have to give up an equal amount to them on your 2450 somehow.
Joey, I'm sorry, did you say that
Yes, ma'am.
2452 has not been returned?
It has been returned.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you, okay. Yeah,
Okay.
That's assuming 2452 in all likelihood. Not even, I don't see why they would want to give up it for nothing. Well, maybe being a good, neighbor, but I doubt it. So Joey, I guess, can you just provide her the number? That's the only thing we can do right now, I would think.
yep.
And then take it from there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Ms. Kichisu, are you okay with that?
Yes, I will pass that on.
No. So your family would need to have the easement going totally through your property on the boundary. 40 foot. Well, I don't know about the 20, but I'm thinking 40 or 40 foot going up from 2452 up to your property, then going up to 2449. That's what you need to contemplate.
Okay. So we have to.
Okay,
I have
so
to reach out to the landowner.
unless okay, is there any more unless there's any more questions, I think we're already past way past 5 o'clock.
Right.
And Miss Kichichu, you have any final thing to say? Or
No, I don't have any. Thank you.
okay. So Juice Masi for coming in and making your requests. We can
Thank
only
you.
go so far, but you can see we're entertaining it and we're trying to see what we can do for you.
Thank you. Thank you for hearing us out.
Of course. If anything new comes up, don't hesitate to get a hold of the director.
Okay. Thank you. Suzuos Masi.
Haugamas.
Okay, Mr. Chair, you're on mute.
Joey,
Mr.
can you
Chair.
send me that map, Joey?
Mr. Chair, you're still on mute. You have to unmute.
Unmute, Mr. Chair.
I see you talking, but
Mr. Chair.
I'm trying.
there
I'm
he is.
trying.
Okay. Yeah,
The
you
minute I
logged out
scroll
somehow.
left, the minute I scroll left, it mutes automatic on this thing.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
The
So-
minute I scroll left, it mutes.
So don't go.
I was caught off guard, and that's why I'm on my phone, it's not on my computer. Okay, so we moved down to public comments. Item 8, public comments.
We had no request for public comments, but Commissioner Lino has her hand up.
Yeah,
Okay.
just Joey, can you just email me that map? I just want to see who's the other families. I could talk to them
Sure, yes, ma'am.
because I'm right there. I don't know where I'm at there in the golf course, but I'm there. I know I'm there somewhere.
You know, we knew about that golf course that people would be landlocked in there. We
Yeah.
knew about that. And and the thing about the law is, you're gonna have to give and take. It's the only way they're gonna get that road in there,
Right.
or else you're not gonna
right.
have access. So
That's right.
you just have to accept it.
And you
And,
know
uh,
what? It's sitting
yeah.
idle.
Yeah, for
it's why
75 years.
Family issues right now at present, like ours. They say this, my grandpa said that, but there's no black and white. So
Yeah.
we just
But the
clear
good
it
thing
off.
about it,
Yeah.
the good
Just
thing about it
one
is that
minute
they're
if you
family.
can.
Huh?
Yeah, the good.
If I was in that situation, I'd ask the senators to help me and have them have a law, because if that access is going to provide more than 2 families, then there is an existing law. Take a look at it. That an access has to be provided. So, but if I were them, off the record, they should go to the
Yeah.
senator and ask for assistance. I feel
Yeah.
bad for that lady.
I told
Yeah,
my
well-
first cousin, I said, you don't want to move, so just let it sit there. I don't know
Well,
what you're gonna do.
I don't think they should give up.
But you know what? To me, if they follow the traditional ways, because those people are all family, and then if they had looked back at their parents and find out the bull cart trail night, that's how they got along together.
True.
They worked in harmony, and
Mhm.
But the kids now of this generation, they need to, put that away and start, working as family owners and neighbors. Now neighbors are killing each other, but that's the only way that they can figure that out. You say, hey, let's follow the Manamku, the bull cart trail. Let's work. It's been like that for hundreds of years.
Long
Let's
time
work
ago,
that
it's
way.
verbal. Now they want
Yeah.
it in gold and
Cash.
white.
In
Gold and white.
cash. No, they want it in cash.
Well, we did do our due diligence and go through
Yeah.
it. We even had land management over here with
Yeah.
Joey, trying to figure
Yeah.
another way around. And you know, it's kind of hard. We're gonna have to take
Yeah.
away from someone or landlock
Yeah.
someone, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Hey, but
Right.
Director, thank you for.
Thank you for your efforts, both of you, truly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I depend a lot on Joey for this, but the big deal was not to
Right.
landlock anybody.
That's
Entertaining
That was a
her.
major part
That's
of this whole thing.
Yep.
And Mr.
And
Director,
the
we
re-
dealt, Mr. Director,
Sure,
excuse
and
me.
trying to see how
But
we
you
can
did,
alleviate
you
that,
did,
her, you know, her.
you did deal with the one in front of
Distinct
GPA. Remember that
Ooh.
trail already? We settled that one already, right?
In front of
Remember that
GPA,
one? Yeah, remember the waterworks in GPA? Remember that trail when they took us on a field trip? Were you with us? Were you with us
yeah,
on that field trip?
I don't know if you went in on GPA,
Yeah.
it's across. Did you go,
Yeah.
the one,
No, that was Mr. Ngoko, I think.
Oh,
Ngoko
yeah,
did
but did we
that?
settle that
Okay.
one, Joey? We fixed that one, right, Joey?
No.
No.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
the,
we
No,
the
so-
one that we did open was the one going up to Sharon Edward Rodriguez, but we placed all of the road on ancestral land property,
Yeah,
you know, government land. That one we did take care of. And that's how
Yeah.
come we have that
Yeah,
about a
that's
mile
already-
long with surveyed by the Rodriguez family.
Yeah,
We were able to get Public Works to come in and clear it out for them.
and that's all
Right.
government land that you touched.
And that was all government land, yes, within our authority.
Right.
Very
So
good.
we were able to do that and get that part done. And we brought the easement closer to the folks that we're just talking with. The easement is very close to them right now. That's open.
Oh,
That's that green line you see going all the way up to them on
Yeah.
that one map. So we did accomplish that part, but yeah, I wasn't aware of the one with GPA.
yeah. Right, Joey?
Yes,
Oh yeah,
sir.
Joey looked at this very hard and long. We spent a
Well-
lot of hours on it.
There
So
might be
when is our
something
next-
else.
So when is our
Yeah.
next meeting? Can we wrap this up?
June 14, just
Okay.
still at 2:30 or 2 o'clock. That'll be a Wednesday,
2:30.
second Wednesday of June.
2:30
2:30 is
is
good,
what we agreed in 2:30, yeah.
okay. So it will be June 14 at 2:30 PM, Wednesday. Yeah, I
Would
know,
you
it's gonna
be
have
back
a lot-
by then, Commissioner Wesley?
Yes, I gave the
Oh.
director my travel dates.
Okay.
Have a safe trip, Commissioner Wesley.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
don't want to Zoom anymore in the States. I've had it.
Safe travels.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Just a quick final thought. I don't see the legislature condemning our properties for the hospital in Barragata, considering
No.
the huge
Yeah,
ado
yeah.
with original landowners.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you're gonna come and just arbitrarily
Yeah.
let's say condemn it, and you can do it
I
to
don't think,
eminent domain, or just
Yeah.
take it like you did, and then
Yeah,
not do anything about the
Yeah.
that what it was meant for. That'll be the
Yeah.
epitome of hypocrisy right there.
right, right.
I don't
It will
see
be
them
the
doing
day.
that either, but
Yeah, I mean, you fought for Eagles Field for the original landowners.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna
well,
come and condemn.
but sometimes for the good of the community, things happen, like the
Yeah.
farmer's co-op.
True.
Lands
raceway
that's
track.
for the original landowners, and then not compensated. So anyway,
There you go, Chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, you keep
Okay, so
getting
do we
frozen.
want to, does someone make a motion to,
Adjourn?
Adjourn.
yes, adjourn,
That's the word.
please?
It's been a
Yes.
long day.
It has. I
Thank
motion
you
that
all.
we adjourn this meeting.
I second.
Okay.
motion to
All
adjourn.
in
It's
favor? Aye.
5:31, 5:32.
Yes.
Yes,
This
5:31.
meeting's adjourned. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, commissioners.
5:31.